moving on, later that evening, prime time television was prime. Coach Deion Sanders was on 60 Minutes last night in an interview that they did. Apparently it was back. It must have been earlier in the summer. But,
it was during the season because they were talking about the games they were undefeated.
Oh, that's right. It was.
It's earlier this season.
It was early in the season. Okay. And Coach Prime, was talking, and we talked about it. He talked about a number of things, but one of the things he talked about was the program, where it was, and why he's doing what he's doing. Let's hear from Coach Prime real quick.
What kind of needs are you sensing here?
You want to start in alphabetical order or numerical?
Sanders was immediately confronted with the economic realities of HBCUs and with the social cleavages of Mississippi. What were the facilities like?
Horrible. And I'm sitting up there thinking, even to this day, how can a public high school in Texas look better than a college?
Football facilities where you lived in Texas were better than this.
School. Forget the darn football facility, the whole darn school.
Right.
That shouldn't be right.
Jackson State's old practice field was so shabby, when it rained, the Tigers had to bus to a local high school. Coach Prime reached out not to a wealthy booster, but to Walmart, which built Jackson State a brand new practice field. Next, he had a new locker room built.
Now, the reason I wanted to play that was because when we talk about, you ain't swag and other things. Now, that was this way well before he got there. I mean, did anybody else try to do anything about it?
Yeah.
It was that way before he got there.
Man, thank you for playing that clip because I agree with you. But even after that, they talked about how it's elevated sponsorship from several corporations to the SWAC. To the SWAC.
Where else can we go help?
Right. And Commissioner McClendon, who's been who's been on this show before for the SWAC, he said, I've been around stars before. I haven't been around superstars. This guy is a superstar for our conference. It's happened all school, universities and colleges are part of this conference. To me, that's SWAC.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. That's what it means to, if you really live, breathe, and eat your conference, your organization, your community, your company, whatever it is that you do, that's what you do.
Yes.
But he's the superstar that can make that call. He can walk in the room, any room.
Right.
Whereas
and they said that too.
I may be another coach. I have that same passion for my conference, but I can't pick up the phone and call Walmart like that.
Right.
I can't get the call from whoever it is that he's calling at Walmart or the room that he's going in as Prime.
100% correct with that one though.
I don't buy it, man. Let me tell you why. You may not be able to make that call direct, maybe like he did. But Reese and I will tell you, if you put your mind, especially if you've been where some of these coaches are, with some of these people, if you put your mind to it, you can get to where you want it. You can get to where you want to get to.
It's just not as
you can ask
easy.
that question.
Right.
You can ask that question as long as you have a product or you have something that when you ask the question, they know it's something behind it.
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
So all the coaches that came before him with that same football field, they never tried. They could have done it.
You want my real answer? Yeah, I don't think they had the thought process, the vision, or the leadership. They were waiting for somebody to come to them.
Yeah.
And do it for them.
And that comes with vision. I agree with that. Sometimes you're like, well, we HBs, I'm not getting my soapbox with traditionally, but back in the tradition, well, we never done anything like that before. We can't go ask those people that. Why not?
Right.
Nobody wants to sponsor us.
Right. Nobody wants. How you know? Now, I will say this now. It's an easier conversation now than it's ever been before because of the guy we just talked about.
Right.
So when you don't embrace this guy, that means you still throwing shade, and I don't quite understand that. I'm still confused about that. People come at us because we say that, but it's the truth. Yeah. We're not lying about that. It's incredible. But Vision's right. And even like Deion said, nobody even tried to recruit him coming out of college. High school.
They didn't think they could get him.
They didn't get him. Now he got 5 stars going and lost one 5-star to Alabama. It came down to the last cut. He talked about in the interview, Matt.
I just love the fact that now that we're here and the stage is being set, right? It's one of those, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. First of all, you got to build an environment that breeds success and championship, right? Mm-hmm. You feel like you're a champ. You feel like this is a place where winners want to come to. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can go to any SEC school. You walk in, most of those places, you feel like this is a place where you can be a winner. Very few schools, I'm just taking the SEC for example, because very few football schools in the SEC do you walk in and walk into that athletic facility, you don't feel like you can be a winner.
Right.
Right? People walk into Missouri every day.
Yeah.
They walk out of there feeling like they could be a winner.
Yeah,
they got all the resources.
But hold on. And they're not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Vanderbilt maybe. I mean, I'm not sure about Vanderbilt in terms of football, but to your point though,
I said very few.
Very few.
Very few meaning two.
I'm kidding, Vandy. I'm kidding. Chill out.
Anchor down, baby. Anchor down. But that's what I'm saying. So,
right.
Like Deion said, you know, when you came in, he talked about it in the interview yesterday. Mm-hmm. When you came in here, you felt like this is a place where championship is
like
done.
Winners,
where winners are, and that's what you want.
Yeah,
that's what you want. You don't want to build. You don't want to build an era of hostility and anything less than inclusion. Like you want to be able to say, hey, when you walk in, these guys may not have a field, they may not have this, they may not have that, but you know what? They think they can win.
Yes.
And they show you that they can win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. And it's funny, we kind of kicked this conversation off talking about the HBCU Invitational. Mm-hmm. I can guarantee you, because Sass and Octagon, they took a chance in elevating this scenario at the same time elevating the PGA Championship at the Seniors Tour. Mm-hmm. You're going to start seeing a lot of that now.
It'll be happening more often
across
the country.
No, that'll never work. Really? It worked right in our backyard. We just saw it.
Worked wonderfully. Yeah. So all of that energy, all of those things happening, then they ask the question that everybody wants to know the answer to.
Yeah.
So, Deion, the big money's coming your way. Mm-hmm. We all know it is. You're going to take the Power 5 like, you know, the coach Eddie Robinson said in the clip 2 weeks ago. Oh, yeah, let's see if he's going to be there next year. Well, Deion answered the question for us. Let's hear from Deion himself.
What happens when a Power 5 school says, give us a number, we'll make it work?
I'm going to have to entertain it.
That's
you
right.
are?
Yes, I'm going to have to entertain it. Straight up. Well, I'd be a fool not to.
Sanders says he needs to look after his assistants, who are wildly underpaid by college football standards.
What's up, babe?
Sanders has ruled out one bigger leap. You don't want to coach in the NFL?
Not one bit.
Why not?
It's hard for me to coach a person that makes a lot of money that does not truly love the game that blessed me. And I don't want to go to jail.
What are you going to do?
That's why you walk out, right, K-Mag?
That's why you walk out.
I don't want to go to jail.
That's why you walk out. So, how you feel about that, Rick?
When I first heard it, I was like, oh, man. Because we need him in the HBCU world. Mm-hmm. I said, man, that would have happened. Will we go back to where we were before he showed up? I mean that seriously. Then I thought about, so maybe he's elevated to the point he's opened the eyes to other people on his brand itself. So maybe it's going to continue to grow because he helped us get there, and let him go home and live his life and do great things for him and his family and the assistant coach he's talked about. So a little bit of both. I was sad to hear that, but then I was like, hey, that's reality. That's what life's going to be. What about you?
I'm only going to hold him accountable, but he answered the question. He's got to look out for his assistants.
Yeah.
Which also, to me, tells me he's going to look out and make sure that there's a pipeline built to continue the success and put the model in place, right?
Setting it up
like he's setting the blueprint in place for everybody to chime in, everybody to say, look, if he can do it in Jackson, Mississippi, why can't you do it in Montgomery?
Huntsville. No, Durham.
Right.
You know,
well, if he can do it there, why can't you do it everywhere else? Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But don't cook me. I mean, school after school after school after school. The model is in place.
Yeah.
There's no reason it can't be done.
And again, I think with the popularity, what's going on in HBCUs, I see it all the time now. I think it's well on its way, and Prime has helped that situation. Maybe we was trending that way with BLM and all this stuff in the past. People are trying to become more woke now and more diverse. But he put it on a level where people really paying attention to it.
Yeah,
how you feel about his comments?
I think just like he said, he'd be a fool not to. I mean, he's got to look out for his family, but I like that he said he would look out for his assistants, and I think that caveats into what K-Mac said about not just his assistant. He's going to look out for the program as well. But one of the things he said earlier in the interview is that he felt called to Jackson State. He felt called to be that coach and the things that he had to do. So if he gets the other call, I think that's just a different assignment. And so it will still continue.
Yeah, he said he got the call collect.
Exactly.
And he accepted the call.
Yeah. So he felt like he was called to that, and I think he'll take care of that. But if he gets the other call, I think it's time. And then all the exposure that's come because of his presence there will continue to grow and help the HBCUs.
Auburn is lurking. I heard Auburn University and a couple other universities lurking around right now.
Yeah, because what those schools want to buy, they want to buy a pedigree in an era of champion, an era of being competitive. Like if he could bring that kind of talent to Jackson State, right, in the SWAC, what could he do with our $200 million facility?
Yeah.
And our prowess and our sponsorship and our NIL budget and all these other things. What could he do?
NIL, because their budget, athletic budget, was $4 million, and
right.
Nick's
is what, like 3 times that?
15 times
that.
Nick's is $4 million a week.
Right.
I mean, think about that.
They're probably right about that.
Wow.
So you take a team that has a budget of $4 million, right, which is more than half of some of the other schools I know for a fact.
That's true.
Right. And look what he's created. Imagine if you gave him $400 million.
Yeah.
Right.
He pleaded out to people. Some people who saw that just like we did. He said maybe some millionaire. I was thinking about Amazon. Hey, here, Deion. Here's no $800 million. Go make it work. I'm gonna see what's gonna develop.
That was an intentional statement.
You know,
he knew exactly what he was doing.
Deion was selling that now.
But why not?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's who he is.
That's
why
who he is.
Not?
Thank you.
That's what helped him get that.
The old swag mentality. I can't do that. No, they ain't gonna help us.
Look, they won't help us. So I ain't gonna embarrass myself.
Right.
It's not embarrassment.
I'm not gonna put myself out there like that.
If you know you have a product that's on par with anything and everything else, why you apologize?
Well,
why we apologize? Why we feel a need to apologize for a product, for our own product, if we know it's just as good as anything else?
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you on that.
Well, yeah, I think they have to know that.
Yeah.
That belief system.
But it was good though. It was good seeing that. It was very
Wonderful.
timely, right, for what we've been talking about all
very
week.
timely.
Yeah.
And it was a feel good weekend.